What's going on, guys? What we're going to talk about in this one today is the main reasons for geoengineering programs. And geoengineering, colloquially called chemtrails, and the point of this video is not to argue whether or not chemtrails are real. I mean, we all see those lines going above our heads every day that don't dissipate after a couple hundred feet and they last hours. Quite obvious that there's some crap that they're spraying right over our heads. But the point of this video is I want to offer you some of the main reasons that I personally believe why they chemtrail the crap out of us. Now, you gotta understand as well, I mean, when people first think of chemtrails or these programs, it's very tough for them to come to terms with it because they really don't understand why. But when you empathize with the situation and you put yourself in the shoes of somebody who has a large ownership of the planet or is in one of those secret societies, you could say, I mean, you get to the conclusion, well, I mean, these people literally want 90% of humanity eliminated. They etched that shit right into the Georgia Guidestones. These are the people that want full control at all costs. I mean, the costs to them are negligent. They don't give a shit about human life. So, understanding that, then really it boils down to, well, I mean, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they spray shit over our heads and mind control us to believe that that's not really what's going on? It's kind of obvious. And these are the main reasons that I think they're doing these geoengineering or solar radiation management, as it's also called, programs. So first and foremost is the physical control of our planet. This delves into weather manipulation, and geoengineering runs along the lines of HARP. You'll usually find the two very close-knit when you do a lot of online research into the chemtrail phenomena. And HARP stands for I believe it's the High Altitude Auroral Research Project, but it's essentially a very large radio array where when these particulates, a lot of the stuff that they spray into the atmosphere is in the atmosphere, they can then bounce radio waves off of it and heat the ionosphere and essentially influence weather patterns that way. So they can manufacture droughts. There's a lot of good research showing that the recent drought in California was in fact manufactured. They can influence the weather a whole lot of different ways. They may or may not be able to actually influence earthquakes as well, because once you get into the understanding of the Earth as a giant capacitor, well, pumping some extremely low frequencies and playing around with it, it's actually quite possible. So weather manipulation and HARP, and this is a big support to the biotech industry as well. So corporations like Monsanto, when there are droughts that are manufactured, well, farmers are going to need the drought-resistant seeds. The biotech companies make those drought-resistant seeds. So physical control of our planet with geoengineering programs supports the biotech companies. It also supports the agenda of carbon taxes, of climate change, because, of course, I mean, the climate's changing on this planet. It's changing for a lot of different reasons, and if they can essentially quicken or if they can intensify that climate change that's going on this planet, it can scare people a whole lot more, and they can then push on their agenda of carbon taxes and things like the climate accords and whatnot a lot easier under the populace. So first and foremost, physical control of the planet, weather modification, drought-resistant crops, climate change agenda, lots of reasons why the powers that be would chemtrail us. Number two, human body-mind toxification. And this one is just plain and simple. There's no money in healthy people. There's no money in dead people. They don't want us dead. They might want us dead, not quite yet. They want us sick. Okay, so again, no money in healthy people, no money in dead people. There's only money in sick people. So if they can spray barium, strontium, and aluminum particulates and whatever else, right, that may lead to diseases like Morgellons or nanoparticles or whatever else they might be bioengineering above our heads, it's going to make us pretty sick. And it's going to definitely potentiate the rates of things like autoimmune disorders like fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome. And it's crazy because in medicine these days we're getting all of these crazy syndromes that doctors have no idea. They have no idea why these rates are rising. They don't know the causes. But I mean, if you just connect the dots and put it together, the causes it becomes our bodies are so toxic. A lot of these diseases are simply heavy metal induced or poison induced. If we simply purified our bodies, I just did a video yesterday on purification techniques from chemtrails. It'll help us be a whole lot healthier. I wrote down here things like Alzheimer's and autism rates are going through the roof. And again, one of those main reasons is spraying stuff over our heads. And particularly when it comes to chemtrails, I was just talking about autoimmune issues a minute ago, but really, like I have written down here, nervous system issues, because the amount of aluminum, especially aluminum hydroxide that they're spraying over our heads, is destroying our nervous system. So, I mean, when it comes to autism, a lot of people hear vaccines and they'll connect vaccines to autism. Well, that's kind of obvious. You have heavy metals injected to us from vaccines. But then you also get into the argument of, my kid wasn't vaccinated and he still has autism. Well, let me tell you, there are many ways that heavy metals are infiltrating our bodies, not just vaccines, but chemtrails too. We could literally have chemtrail-induced autism. Or something to that effect. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why these diseases are rising, and chemtrails is just one of them. So anything associated with heavy metals, especially the nervous system, will be screwed. And then again, unhealthy minds can't connect the dots. If you have a population that is smart and whose brains actually work, they're going to be able to connect the dots as to what's going on in this world and see it a lot easier. So they basically just want a population of zombies to rule over. It's a lot easier to rule over people when they don't know how to think. So number 2, these chemtrails, in my opinion, are sprayed over our heads to just toxify the crap out of us and let our bodies and minds not work right. And then the last reason why I think these chemtrail programs are being done, and pretty much the deepest reason in my opinion, we're going to blast off into Jordan land for a minute, but to prevent humanity's spiritual ascension. Now, our bodies, and essentially not just our bodies, but the cosmos is literally evolving. And we hear, I won't get too far into the technicalities of all of this, but our solar system is essentially moving into a new region of space, and this new region of space is vibrating our whole solar system at a much higher rate. And these cosmic energies that are entering our solar system are essentially upgrading or activating our DNA. And in doing so, it's, literally we're getting a conscious evolution from this natural process, from the ending and the beginning of this natural cycle. So there's a cycle ending, and we are right at the crescendo of that, and it's beginning a new time, and literally our solar system. But what's happening is the powers that be do not want us to undergo this conscious evolution or this upgrade or this activation. So the reason they're chemtrailing us is to A, block the solar rays from essentially entering our atmosphere, block these cosmic energies from getting to us and upgrading our DNA, and the aluminum especially. So I have written down here aluminum, and we're going to look at the etymology of this word really quick. So when you look at aluminum, it breaks down into the prefix A, and then lumina, which also means light. Now, when you break it down again, A is often the prefix for an anti, often means anti. So if you break this down again, aluminum could almost translate to anti-light. And we are beings of light. So many different people say this, both scientists and spiritual prophets. So looking at, tying all of these dots back in together, humanity is evolving, we are ascending, we are essentially becoming crystalline beings or beings of light. And the reason the powers that be don't want that is they don't want us to evolve, they don't want us to obtain a greater conscious perception. So they're chemtrailing us to prevent this because they want to retain their power. They don't want our DNA to evolve, they don't want our minds to evolve. So these geoengineering programs literally spraying aluminum particulates above our heads toxifies our bodies, toxifies our DNA especially, doesn't let us become spiritually enhanced beings. So there's a few reasons as to why these geoengineering programs exist. They want physical control of the planet, they want essentially physical control of us, and they want spiritual control of us too. So those are the main reasons. And when you begin to understand these reasons, it again, right, more dots to connect. You have a big old aha moment, that light bulb lights above your head, and you're like, wow, that's why these chemtrail programs exist, and it becomes obvious that, you know, they're real, they exist, and then you can take these reasons as to why the geoengineering programs exist and then expand that out, and it helps you understand as to why many other programs exist that these powers that be are involved in. So essentially they just want full and complete control. But understanding this, becoming conscious of it, and then putting your energetic intent out there as to not be subjected to this is that will then help us with our conscious evolution and to get that ascension that we're all essentially here for. So there's that. Also, take care of your minds and bodies. Detoxify, purify yourself. Check out that video I just did, because it's very important to get all this crap out of us. So go check that out, and keep on keeping on, guys. Done.